大家好，我是康云. Hello everyone, I'm Kang Yun, and welcome back to Demon Souls, Chang'e's journey through Boletaria. So, in the last episode, we took out the man-eaters, and basically did everything in Latria in the pure black tendency. Oh yeah, and I did the pure white tendency events as well. And in between episodes, I farmed for and finally got a spiral rapier, which I have upgraded to Mercury +4, so that's 水影 万次减 so that 水影, as I said, means liquid silver or mercury. And that one is the same one as 万刀, but in this case it means, I think, well, one means curved, but I think in this sense it's meant that it's like sort of twisted, because it's not a curved sword, obviously. It's a twisted piercing sword, and as you see, it is sort of a twisted blade. In the original, the whole blade was curled around, sort of like a almost like a, I don't know, like a drill maybe. It's hard to, I don't know how to quite describe that, but I think I do prefer the look of it in the original, but this almost looks, I don't know, I do like it though. And at +4, we're getting attack of 121, which this is not going to be like a powerhouse weapon, like I said, but the main thing is it has, with Mercury, it has, right now it's got 300 poison and 180 bleed. It will keep that 180 bleed, which it has innately. But we still need a few more chunks and a pure Mercury Stone to get it to +5. I did try to farm
I was worried sick.
for more Mercury Stone chunks, but I was, because I have pure white, I only ended up getting shards, so that's okay. I'll have to turn the world back to pure black and farm the Mercury Stone off camera.
We are indebted to you.
But while farming, I also got this weapon. This is the 石像鬼之弓, which means stone-shaped demon, or demon of stone, or in other words, gargoyle bow. Or it doesn't say crossbow, but it's obviously a crossbow. It says gargoyle bow. And this is a very interesting crossbow, and I actually can use it on this character. It's the only crossbow in any of the Souls games that I'm aware of anyways that actually gets scaling. I might be wrong about that. There might be one that scales in Dark Souls 2. I can't remember. I didn't use crossbows much in in Dark Souls 2. But yeah, as you see, it scales B in Magic. You can't upgrade it. I don't think you can upgrade it anyways. In fact, I'm almost certain you can't. And you need 16 Magic and 12 Strength to use it. You could, if you had less than 12 Strength, you could probably just two-hand it. But that scaling will give it, I'm getting 20 extra magic damage. You see it does split physical and magic. And with the strongest bolts in the game, which are the black bolts, the black bolts do 80 piercing damage, physical. It's got an attack rating of 150. I've used a Gargoyle Crossbow on a build that had 99 magic with black bolts, and it still was very weak, very underpowered. I can try and demonstrate it a little bit just for fun. Here, I'll go to Boletaria. We'll see how strong it is even against the Draglings. It might, if it kills them in one hit, I'll be surprised. But at the same time, this is new game, and we do have, I think, white tendency here. So we'll go just shoot a few Draglings. And that's another thing with crossbows is how, like, how did it miss? Okay, it'll kill that guy. It'll kill these guys, but if we were to go to Latria and test it on a stronger enemy, like the gargoyles themselves, or one of those man centipedes, we'll see that it doesn't do great damage. $34. Yeah, that's terrible. I mean, I don't have a bow upgraded yet, but I will be upgrading a bow at some point. And the bow will be much stronger, so 45. Those guys are weaker to pierce. But the farming route I showed in the last episode is essentially what I did, just kind of going through and killing the gargoyles in this level. It's kind of a shame that they didn't really seem to put much thought into the crossbows in Demon Souls. In Dark Souls, they became more useful because you could actually upgrade them and infuse them with, I think, different element. I think you could make them lightning and then use... They added more variety of bolts. You could use lightning bolts. But yeah, in Demon Souls, crossbows, apart from maybe if you're like playing on a build that has like absolutely no dex, and you want to form, and you're not using magic, and you want a form of a ranged attack just for the sake of luring enemies, I guess the crossbow could be useful in that regard, but you can also just use throwing knives or kunai, so I don't know. Apart from really early on, crossbows become pretty
I was worried sick.
obsolete, or what's the word I'm looking for? Worthless.
We are indebted to you.
That gargoyle crossbow looks cool. It's I'm not sure if it's a bow. It seems to be a bow that you wind. As you saw, there's a crank. I think it has something to do with a yeah, you see there's a crank there where you crank it back, whereas these you sort of just pull back. That's the heavy, and this is the light. And those are the only 3 crossbows in the game. When I do upgrade a bow, I'm going to be upgrading the compound longbow just down the regular path with Hearthstone, because as it will work out with my stats, that will be the strongest form, because quality, you can only upgrade bows down 3 paths. The standard with Hearthstone, quality with Clearstone, or Spiderstone. Quality is good for quality builds with even amounts of strength and dex, or high amounts of both. Spiderstone is good for high dex builds, and it will also add, I think, 5 to your range. If we can see the range, there it is, 60 at the top. The white bow has the longest range of any bow at 75. The compound short bow is 50. Light crossbow is 50, heavy crossbow is 55, and the gargoyle crossbow is 60. So, gargoyle crossbow is the best crossbow if you have magic. If you don't, it's the heavy crossbow. How much does it weigh? 5 units. This crossbow weighs less, so I don't know. I would advise just not using crossbows altogether, unless you just specifically want to do it for fun. Really, it's the only time you'd really want to use one. But that out of the way,
are indebted to you. For you fight on our behalf.
Our next objective is to take out the final boss of Latria. And we'll keep on this providential ring for now. The luck ring, because we want... Oh, and I should say that I leveled up my dex to 16 in order to use this spiral piercing sword, because it requires 16 dex to use. And I do have enough souls to get one more level, so I'll do that real quick, actually.
Thou seekest the power, then touch the demon inside me.
And we'll get a point of strength because we want to use that phosphorescent pole at some point.
Soul of the lost, withdrawn from its vessel. Art thou finished?
And we'll make our way to the final area in Latria. So here, this is the only corpse in the game that has 2 items on it, and it has this a legendary and a renowned hero's soul, I believe, or something like that. And this is a unique boss. This boss is, if you've probably heard about this, this is the old monk fight, and the old monk fight can be, you can be summoned in as a player. I've explained this earlier. Actually, that's how I got the monk's head wrappings, by putting my sign down, and I got summoned in as the boss of this level, and then the player died through this gauntlet of enemies. I do believe this is the only, apart from Boletaria, this is the only level where there's actually enemies that are leading up to the final archdemon. So, as I said, the robes are actually the demonic presence that are controlling the monk. But the monk is weak and old, so because they sense a new, more powerful soul, they leave the monk and go to the Black Phantom. And then the monk dies. It's actually, I believe, based off of The King in Yellow, and this boss, Miyazaki, has gone on the record saying that it was his favorite boss. Well, when asked what his favorite Dark Souls boss was, he first said, well, let me actually say that my favorite boss is a Demon Souls boss, the old monk. And then the interviewer was like, okay, well, let's talk about Dark Souls. Which I thought was kind of funny. So we have this gauntlet of enemies. It's just a bunch of these small man centipedes, and then there's 2 Black Phantom Mind Flayers, which are the more dangerous of the enemies. Or the more dangerous foe that we'll encounter here. we're hoping to get some Mercury Stone, which is why I have that ring on. And we have a Mind Flayer here. We haven't gotten invaded, though. You can get invaded in soul form, and when I say invaded, have the monk summon a player. So I'm gonna try. Ooh. And we did poison him, but that's not the way we want to go about doing that. Because he gets hyper armor on his attacks. And we can skip that cutscene. We've seen it already. No, there's a shard. Looking for chunks. Yeah, there. See, now we got invaded, so that this player will be our boss unless they leave. So that thing's AoE is quite large. Made the same mistake. I shouldn't have exhausted my stamina is my problem. See, now that player, because I died, will have gotten the yellow head wrappings. I could just take that guy out with magic, but I'm trying to see if I can't demonstrate the bleed and poison on these guys, because you can both bleed and poison these mind flayers. They're susceptible to both. And we got another player. Let's try not to fall for the same thing. Oh wow. Usually that hits the wall. I didn't know it would go through the wall. Okay. Well, we're having a rough go of getting to the boss. And we'll probably have a hard time if we're fighting a player that's pretty strong and able to avoid magic. This might be a little bit more challenging of a fight. We'll see though. And that poison should kill him. Okay, and then there's a few more of these man centipedes. And the reason, like, we're pretty powerful, but we're not really set up for PvP because we don't have a lot of HP. We only upgraded our vitality a few times. thing has such a big AoE. Be very careful. There, he's poisoned. Okay. Well, we'll see what kind of player we're dealing with. There is a crystal lizard at the end of this hallway, which is the one that you typically farm for the pure moonlight stone. But I'm not actually going to want to kill it because I want to wait until I get pure black tendency before I do. So I'm not going to attack him. And we're going to put on our Ring of Magical Sharpness. Ooh, he got us. I could have healed, I guess. But I was hoping, I was hoping I could take him out. And if I tried to heal, he probably would have rushed me. So, we're gonna use magic on these mind flayers. Hopefully that will go more smoothly. But those mind flayers here are really the Oh, well, looks like we'll get to fight the NPC because okay, please go away. Because this player that invaded me left. Because a lot of times, if you put your blue sign down, you can easily get summoned as the monk, which was happening to me. And you don't really want to fight a player, because if you do kill a player as the monk, your character tendency goes down. And if you're wanting to co-op, you don't want to have dark tendency because you're stronger as a blue phantom when you have white tendencies. So it's better to. So I'll use the Rapier on this guy. The NPC he's not overly difficult, but depending on what player you get. Depending on what player you get, he can be harder or easier. We don't have a lot of stamina, so it's hard to apply poison. Ooh. He will get homing arrows, homing crystal arrows, or not crystal, but just homing soul arrows. I believe you can poison this NPC. Yeah, he's poisoned now. See if we can't also bleed him. And the lower his health gets, the more arrows he'll have. The ooh. I don't remember him using that soul ray. The soul ray spell in the original game. But that's the old monk NPC. He can be pretty aggressive, but if you back away, it's pretty easy to heal. And we did poison him, which helped wear his health down. So yeah, that might have been a little bit underwhelming, but depending on what player I've gotten, like, because sometimes you get a player who is really confident and will be able to, you know, they're set up and ready to fight you, or sometimes you can get a player who is not at all expecting to do PvP, and you might just completely wipe the floor with them because they're not set up at all for fighting you. So yeah, this fight can be a real gamble. The NPC, like I was saying, he can be a decent challenge, and he almost got me a few times there. He's pretty aggressive. He'll come at you with his claws, and what I was trying to say, but I had to focus there for a moment. Those soul arrows are basically there to prevent you from just spamming on him. So, because you could infinitely stun lock him, but those soul arrows will pop up and then they'll hit you, and if you're just spamming on him, you can very easily get killed by them very quickly, because they do a lot of damage if you get hit by all 5. So for killing him, we get the yellow demon soul, 黄衣恶魔之魂, and that's that. And I'm sorry, last time I didn't show the mixed demon soul. I believe that's 混高, or 乱高 to mix 乱高恶魔之魂, and that's the soul of the man-eater. Man-eater is 吃人鬼, which means it's quite literal, eat person demon. And old monk is, well, they call him yellow clothed. Lao Chi was just, yeah, like a monk. Which the story that this boss is based on is the King in Yellow. I haven't read it, but it's considered a part of the what's it called? Lovecraftian. It's not written by Lovecraft, but I think it might actually predate Lovecraft, but it's considered in that sort of genre. It's a short story, I believe, and it has to do with a king being possessed by strange golden robes, from what I've read. So yeah, that's the old monk fight, and that's the final demon of Latria, which, if you haven't been able to tell, the archdemons are all pretty unique fights, and that was one of Miyazaki's main focuses in this game, is making sure that each boss had its own unique feeling. And actually, because we want to get Latria back to pure black, we've done all the white tendency events there. We're gonna go die there again, rather than the Valley of Defilement.
Thou seekest the power of the soul.
But first we're gonna level up.
Then touch the demon inside me. Soul of the mind, key to life's ether.
We can get... Oh, we're just 683 short. Well, we can get our 16 strength.
Let strength be granted so the world might be mended.
And let's...
Art thou finished?
Let's see, we can definitely
May thy
get...
strength help the world be mended.
Yeah, you see I have a lot. These are the souls that the gargoyles drop, so I have a ton of them because I was farming them. So we can get
Thou
one more level here.
Soul of the mind, key to life's
And I think let's actually
Soul
get
of the lost, withdrawn
a little
from
bit
its
more
vessel.
endurance.
Let strength be granted so the world might be mended. So the world might be mended.
We'll be wanting some endurance.
Art thou finished?
Not that we need a ton, but we do want to have, because I can only attack 3 times with this, 3 or 4 times with this this sword. And with that golden or the yellow demon soul, we can learn. Well, you can do. This is something I should point out. This soul, if you're wanting in the original game, if you wanted to get the platinum trophy, you had to go through. You had to beat the game 3 times and get on the 4th playthrough, beat this boss a 4th time, because this and one other soul in the game has 4 different uses. You can make 2 spells with this, a miracle and a weapon. The 2 spells are Homing Soul Arrow, which is what I'm going to learn from Frake, but the other magic teacher that will encounter Yuria, you can learn, I believe it's Soul Thirst, which is like the effect that the silver bracelets have, and the Ring of Avarice. When you have those equipped and you don't have any other effect on you, I don't think, yeah, if we take off that ring, which lowers our magic defense and range. So you get this red aura on your head when you have the silver bracelets or the Ring of Avarice on, and it means that you're getting more souls. But Soul Thirst is a spell that, I think it's the only spell in the game that costs 200 MP to cast, which is quite a lot. The second most costly spells are 100 MP. But Soul Thirst, it's a temporary buff and it doesn't last very long, but it basically covers your whole body in that red aura and will give you like quite a lot more souls for the time that it's on you, and it's useful for casting when you right after you beat a boss or when you're farming enemies. And you can get a lot of souls if you have the Ring of Avarice equipped and you cast Soul Thirst. So it's basically a farming spell. It doesn't really do anything other than give you more souls. And I think it's either 2 or 3 magic slots to equip that. So it's not as useful to us. So we're going to... Oh, and the weapon that you get, actually, if you take a catalyst to Ed and you have given him the Flame Lurker's soul, you can turn either a wooden or a silver catalyst into the Insanity Catalyst, which is the catalyst that the monk is using. And that catalyst is the strongest catalyst in the game. It has the highest, I think it's A. It has the magic scaling of A, and it has the highest magic adjust. So it's ideal for having like the strongest spell casting in the game. But the effect is, or the caveat to it is, when you use that catalyst, it halves your MP. And I've showcased this in my video on all boss weapons. I showcased the yellow catalyst in there. But we don't want that catalyst just yet. We'll get that in New Game Plus. We're gonna get the homing soul arrow from him.
Thank you for offering your demon souls. I cannot express my gratitude enough. Oh, to have my wish granted at so late an age. Thank you. You are a fine magician. As promised, let me teach you new magic.
And I think that's something I want to comment on, is that they got away from in Dark Souls. They went back to it a bit more in Dark Souls 3. But in Dark Souls, like the first Dark Souls, boss souls you could only really use them to make weapons. I think there was only one soul, and it was a Manus soul from the DLC that you could trade to the crow for a spell. But they didn't really, there was a lot less options for souls in that game as compared to Dark Souls, or I'm sorry, Demon Souls. Yeah, so here, this is, 指导灵魂剑. So yeah, homing. I think that means to home or to track or to follow. Soul arrow, homing soul arrow, and it does, as you saw the monk do. It creates those orbs around you, and when an enemy comes in close vicinity to you, they will home in on to the enemy. And it's costs 2. It costs 2 slots to equip. So I think next we're going to do the Shrine of Storms. And we're going to have to go through there, pure black, kill the Black Phantom. Do we want to use it? I think we do. I think it should come in handy. And Fireball is really good, and then Cloak is always useful. So, yeah, we'll go with that for now.
Bring me more demon souls when you can. I patiently await you, my fine magician friend.
Okay. I don't think we have enough souls
Into your souls.
to repair our gear now.
No interesting.
Just eat.
I can tell you're not going to last long. It's into your souls. You come back alive.
And we'll want the Moon Spear, because you cannot poison or bleed the skeletons. At least I don't think you can. We want to quickly go die in Latria, though. Now this is, the name of this is interesting to me, 象牙塔, which, if I'm not mistaken, that means yeah, Ivory, yeah. Ivory Tower. So which is, I'm wondering why. I don't know if in the English translation, because the name of the Archstone is the Tall Tower of the Queen. But I thought in English it was the Queen's Ivory Tower, but this means Elephant Tusk or Elephant Tooth Tower, you know, Ivory. 象牙塔 玉米大 二王 玉米大. I'm not sure if I know those characters. I'm not sure. Anyways, that means throne room. The last part of that means throne room. I'm not sure of the first 4 characters. Yumi, Dar. Maybe is that a name, or is it have a meaning? I'm not sure. Okay, let's just die here. And I might want to buy some grass from Patches, actually. Buy some more Half Moon. Because I did use a bunch when farming. And we'll just eat a bunch of these so we have a ton of them. Oops.
Ooh, I have some precious.
Oh yeah, and I think because we've killed 2 archdemons now, he will now start selling white colored sticky slime and the 帽是戒指. Mao is cats, so this is the cat's ring. But don't buy that because you can get it in the Valley Defilement. All the rings that NPCs sell are not worth buying, or none of the rings are worth buying. Okay. Yeah, we should be okay on grass.
Gear, huh? You won't find it anywhere else. I aim to please.
Good gear, huh? Does he have anything else to say?
I have some precious new stuff. You'll find something useful, surely. I have bad news. There's a rumor that the silent Chief Yurt has infiltrated Boletaria.
Oh, we took care of him.
Yurt's a mercenary. He'd kill his own kin for the right price. Now, I'm not a saint, but compared to Yurt, I'm as saintly as they come. So, I implore you to stay away from Yurt, the assassin in black.
Yeah, so he actually warns you about Yurt. I don't know if he actually told you about that in the original game. I forget.
So, I implore you to stay away from Yurt.
Okay.
Well, do as you please, but do not come a-crying later.
So, this may or may not take a little while. We don't have a ton of time left, but hopefully we'll be able to do this without too much trouble, and that is kill the Black Phantom Satsuki, who spawns at the very beginning. Oh yeah. Ooh. See, if we had been able to get that last cast off before he hit us. And he always runs at you, but looks like he lost track of us from the cloak spell, which is interesting. So we'll recast. We only get 4 of these because we have 30 magic. I think once you get either 40 or 50, you'll get 5, which is the most you can get. Yeah, so he sees us now. There we go. Yeah, you see now. Oh, we already have pure white tendency. And I've only killed 2 Black Phantoms. Or no, I've killed 3. What that's really interesting that I do have pure white. Because I thought I had to kill all 5, but you know what? I think that does confirm that co-oping bosses and beating bosses, or no, you know what? That's so that what I just said there about killing bosses in co-op, that's something that's been up for debate. I tended to believe that co-oping bosses doesn't have an effect on your tendency and your character tendency, and if it does, it has very little effect. Now you want to be very careful here because there are two... There's a Black Phantom, and that my soul arrows keep going to the wrong enemy. There we go. And that guy is stuck up there. But it was generally agreed that co-oping bosses does not affect your tendency. But when I was co-oping, I think maybe 1 or 2 times, one of the players that I was summoned by if you can preemptively cast Fireball, it's very good. Oh, we got a hooked sword. Well, that'll be cool. Might mess around with that. That's the Godao. It's literally a hooked sword. Now the R2 on this weapon bypasses shields, which is why it's useful. This is a good weapon to make Mercury as well, because you could inflict poison through somebody's shield. Or tearing. I don't know. Yeah, you can make that. I think it actually... Yeah, it already has innate bleed. All the curved swords do. But when the player that summoned me, I believe, got invaded, and I killed. I do remember killing a few invaders. Maybe at least one. I can't remember if it was 2. Take these guys out. You want to preemptively cast that spell, because it does cast pretty quickly, but there is a wind up to it. And you can often get it off before the enemy has time to get to you. And sort of while you're in the middle of casting it, line up and lock onto the enemy is a good tip there. So we're gonna go trade that gold mask with the crow here, or the hawk, whatever she is, for another Colourless Demon Soul. And while it is kind of annoying that they kept the reload aspect of this in the game reloads so quickly that it's not much of a big deal.
Trade. Give me sparkly, twinkly.
And this crystal lizard we definitely want to kill. Oh, and we got a chunk. Very nice. Don't want to die to that archer. I should have taken him out. That was my bad not doing so. We want to go back, though, because we can... If my character will move. Go this way. I should have casted Cloak. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm not doing that. We can take the shortcut that I didn't... If you roll over that, you can bypass most of the level. And I think, yeah, this crystal lizard, we've exhausted its spawn counts until we kill the next. We'll get 2 more for the next 2 bosses. But yeah, you can. We're already at the boss basically. And all we've done. All we've done is just get past that one part. That is a great combo. As you saw me take out Satsuki, I guess I didn't even comment on him. He can be quite a difficult fight because he's got a very powerful striking sword, katana, Uchi katana. He uses the, I think it's the Hiltless, but it actually doesn't do damage to him. Like, I think it might just be a regular katana now that I think about it. But his white, when you encounter him in pure white tendency, he has the Hiltless. We don't want to forget to touch that. And if you're not fighting him with magic and in melee, a good strategy, at least the way that one that I like, is when he always starts with a running attack. That can be pretty easy to predict and parry, and you can deal quite a lot of damage with your riposte if you're using a good enough weapon, especially if you're using Rapier or a piercing sword, like I am, or a spear. But when he gets low HP, he will often roll away, and he will use a New Moon Grasp, which is a full heal, and he can do that, I think, 3 or 4 times if you allow him to. So he can be a real pain, and he will kill you very quickly because he's quite strong. He one-shot me as we were pretty low HP, which I expected, but the combination of casting the homing soul arrow, and he tended to dodge the fireball, but and that's a great combo in general, is having the homing soul arrow. If you can time it right, that the homing soul arrow stuns your enemy and you fire off a fireball at the same time, they'll get hit by all 5 or 6 of those attacks, and it will kill most enemies, if not can very much weaken them. So now we want to get the Primeval Demon here is our next objective. And now that we have a stronger weapon, we can take these shadow lurkers out so they don't mess with us while we're trying to kill this Reaper. We should be able to one-shot this Reaper now, actually. Yeah. Yeah, so that lizard did drop a chunk for us, which was well needed. And the way in which you get to the Primeval Demon, and part of why I didn't want to kill that crystal lizard or chase it up the hill, is because it's positioned in a spot where the Primeval Demon is. And if you were to chase it up there, I didn't want to kill the Primeval Demon at that time because then I wouldn't be able to fight Satsuki. Like that. Now, our homing soul arrow actually killed him, but if he had survived, the fireball would have killed him. So we want to just wait for the cloak to wear off, recast, because we don't want to be bothered by these storm beasts over here. And this is the Primeval Demon here. And he did drop a Colourless Demon Soul. So that's 2 Colourless Demon Souls we picked up in this level. Now, if we wanted to, we could carry on and go fight the boss But I'm running out of time here. I would like to level up, and I don't have another spawn count on that lizard, so I'm not really concerned. When we go back, the tendency will go back to white. By keeping it black, I'll have more Black Phantoms in the level, and it will give me more souls. But I'm not really concerned about getting more souls just now, because if I need to, I can. I'm planning on turning this back to pure black to kill the crystal lizards anyways, just like I'm going to do in Latria. So we'll leave now that we've done here what we needed to do. And we did, like I said, get a Moon Shadowstone chunk, which was pretty nice. Oh yeah, and I didn't even show this. This is the weapon that, this is the katana, the Uchi katana that, Black Phantom Satsuki dropped. And it's, called the Handleless. Or, Hiltless, as it's called in English. In Chinese, it's called Wu Bing, which, yeah, it essentially means without handle. Being the handle of a tool or sword. It's got 180 bleed, which is the same as the Spiral Rapier. But it requires 18 strength and 19 dex, so it's very much a dex weapon. Scales B with dex, and you upgrade it with Colourless Demon Souls. It's a cool Uchi katana, cool sword. But every time you land a hit on an enemy, it will deal, I think, like 18 or 20 damage to yourself. So it chips away at your HP over time as you use it, despite how powerful it is. So
I was worried sick.
You want to be careful with that. So we'll just deposit all this stuff real quick. Oh yeah, and if you haven't, you've probably noticed that I'm wearing the rogues clothes still. I decided that I do like them.
I can forge weapons.
At least for now, I'll wear them. We'll see if I decide
You'll
on
come back alive.
changing to another outfit that I might get as we go on. But I think that's all the time we have for this episode, guys. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments you'd like to add, please feel free to comment below and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you all in the next one. Umbasa.